Well, welcome to the show, everybody. Yes, we've moved since yesterday, as in like from our positions. Now, Lil Toots is still with me. Emmanuel, you want to say hello again? Okay. You just want to stare at yourself in the monitor this whole time. As I told you guys before, where's mommy? Is mommy in Aruba?
Yeah.
On a girls trip? Yeah. So it's you, me, Leo, and Grammy and Grampy who are going to be getting up pretty soon. And they're going to be hanging out with you. And we will be creating good vibes all the live long day when it comes to the Phillies taking on the Braves in Game 3 of the NLDS. Now, I still have this energy, and this is the only energy I want to hear from Phillies fans today. And then hopefully after tonight's, when they take a 2-1 series lead on the Braves. Nick Castellanos after Game 2 in Atlanta.
We came here, we did exactly what we wanted. We would have taken 1 out of 2, right? Perfect case scenario, we go back 2-0. But now they have to come back to Philly, and, there's no place that I'd rather play now 2 games.
What gives you the confidence, I guess, or what about this team makes you think this won't stick with you guys and later?
I mean, we thrive after we get punched in the face, man. Mm-hmm. So that's all it is. Good. Stings, and we'll take it and make it motivate us moving forward.
That's it. That's the energy. That's all the energy we need today in Game 3 against the Braves. Now, there's a couple of things here. We're going to get into this series. Obviously, we're going to get into this Game 3 tonight with Aaron Nola being on the hill and still whoever pitching for the Braves. Not even sure of that yet. We're going to get into the Eagles a little bit. Defense coordinator Sean Desai spoke yesterday. Brian Johnson spoke yesterday. So we'll get into that conversation, of course. And then Hunter Brody is going to be joining us to wrap up the show. We're going to use our interview to end the show this time around. We cover it all. Ladies and gentlemen, you're not going to believe this. Manuel, you're not going to believe this. We talked hockey. You and I haven't even watched hockey yet together. Yeah, I know. I know, right? By the way, your cousins Aurelia and your cousin Amelia watched you yesterday. They saw you on the clip. What is that? What is happening? Why are you raising your hand? Do you have a question?
Yes.
What's your question? You got nothing. Anyway, according to Corey Simon of NBC Sports Philadelphia, here are the options for tonight for the Atlanta Braves. Bryce Elder, 5.75 ERA over his last 14 starts. He could be the starter tonight. Right-handed pitcher, 24 years old.
Say hi today.
You want to say hi? I thought you were okay. Good. Go say hi.
Hello.
Can you say go Phils? No? You might love doing this more than I do, which is horrifying because I just want you to get like a 9-to-5 job, something you somewhat enjoy, and not do anything with a microphone.
I would buy a microphone.
You would buy a microphone. Okay. Now here's the deal. You can't rub the mic. You can't like push the microphone around because when people are listening, it doesn't sound good in their ears. Some people might say that about my voice as well, but Bryce Elder could be getting the start tonight. 5.75 ERA over his last 14 starts. To see it right there. AJ Smith-Sawyer could also get the start tonight. You see what he's done there in 23 innings pitched as a starter. Then they could just go with an opener and the bullpen. My desire, my dream is that they face Bryce Elder. And the reason I hope they face Bryce Elder, because if you remember, 9-20 in a start against Aaron Nola, he got shelled. He only lasted 3 2/3, allowing 4 runs on 3 hits. That's hard to do. All the runs were earned. He gave up 2 home runs, 5 walks. And that was down in Atlanta. Maybe he's a better pitcher on the road. I don't know. I'm not saying that at all. But what you're looking at right now with Bryce Elder is a guy that I think would get shelled. You want to wear these? Against the Phillies tonight. So being that I want to face Bryce Elder so bad makes me think you're not going to face Bryce Elder tonight, unfortunately. 5:07 start time, by the way. Don't forget that. Phillies have also a little extra added motivation. Manuela, there was a member of the Atlanta Braves that was very mean.
Yeah, I can't hear you.
You can't hear me? This guy right here. We don't like this guy. This is Orlando Arcia, okay? He was laughing at Bryce Harper. laughing at Bryce Harper. So, as we were talking about yesterday,
And I got a new friend.
you have a new friend?
Yes.
Okay.
That is good.
You just keep staring at yourself there on the bottom. Mm-hmm. I just for the record, I barricaded the door, and she found a way through. Why are you sticking your tongue out? Okay.
Who do it to like I do?
And I don't. That's your bit. I don't want to encroach on your bit. I don't want to steal your jokes. Okay. What? Anyway, so we're looking at hopefully Bryce Elder getting the start, but Arcia. That's where I was. Arcia tonight laughing at Bryce Harper, a little extra added motivation. As I was talking about yesterday, you had a situation with Orlando Arcia while Bryce Harper was rounding the bases. You had a million things going on at the same time in that game that cost the Phillies the game. Without question, cost the Phillies the game. And it wasn't just Bryce Harper. That was like number 5 of all the things that went wrong. That went wrong with Bryce Harper, or with the Phillies yesterday, or in game 1. Jeez, game 2. So the Phillies didn't need any extra added motivation, but now they do if it's a situation where people are laughing at team leader Bryce Harper. What really helps this argument with Aaron Nola is this side. Yeah, Aaron Nola. He's a pitcher. He's going to be pitching for the Phillies tonight. Aaron Nola is
I can't hear you.
Mechanically. Here, I'll turn that up. Mechanically making adjustments. You sure you don't want to go upstairs and watch Frozen? No? There you go, sweetheart. Let's keep those on.
I want to wait.
All right, yeah, here, hold on. Let me give you a piece of paper.
No, I want a red piece. I want a red piece.
Yeah, I don't have any red pieces of paper here, sweetheart.
I need a red marker.
I don't have a red marker down here.
I thought you'd have one.
Here, I have a Harlem Globetrotters wristband. You can use that.
No.
No? And that's it.
I know.
Yeah. There you go. Somebody started waking up at like 5 o'clock. Why do you wake up at 5 o'clock when mommy's not here?
I don't know.
You little escape artist. So yeah. So anyway, Aaron Nola making a mechanical change. Why am I even trying?
You got a green one.
Making a mechanical change gives me a lot of hope, ladies and gentlemen, that you're going to have a successful pitcher tonight in Aaron Nola, with the Phillies doing a fine job of raking tonight, hopefully against Bryce Elder. Now, here's the unfortunate thing. This is why I have so much optimism. It's not about what Aaron Nola has done against the Braves, and mostly this year against the Braves, he's done a fantastic job. He's got one really rough start against the Braves, and that was all the way back in May. So here is where I know I'm not just watching things with Phillies-colored glasses on. May 25th, he gets shelled. 6 innings, 5 runs, all of them earned, 8 hits, 2 walks, 7 strikeouts in that loss that he took back in May. Since then, he's gone 12 innings against the Braves. 12 innings against the Braves, and he's only allowed 2 runs in those 12 innings. Bless you. And 2 walks, and he has struck out 13. So he's done a fine job. Now, you could say that start there against the Braves back in June was a little too far away, a little too long ago for him to make that mechanical adjustment. So what makes you think it's going to be that good? Well, like I said, he pitched on September 20th against Bryce Elder, against these Braves, and pitched phenomenally well. And that's within the range of this great start, this great stretch that he has been on, with 4 consecutive starts, allowing no more than 2 runs in those starts. Now, it's been 3 phenomenal starts where he's gone at least 6 innings, allowing no more than 2 runs in those starts. So hopefully you see that version of Aaron Nola today. And that's who I think you will see.
Granby stuff?
I don't know. You want to go check? You want to go see if they're up yet?
Yeah.
All right. Hold on. Hush bet. Watch out. Don't trip on the wire. And take your apple juice. I can't come with you, sweetheart. Just you let me know what's what. Oh, there we go. All right, we're going to find out if Grammy and Grandpa are up. This will be very soon. Manuel, why don't you knock on their door, too? Thank you for those who are hanging with me and those who enjoy that. I appreciate it. Looking at Aaron Nola tonight, I don't think it's just a Phillies colored glasses thing about tonight. It's about a guy who has been on a great run. It's about a guy who is pitching for the next 5 years of his career. You look at the mechanical adjustments, you look at the string of success that he's had recently, and then you also couple with that the idea of a guy that's not just pitching to win tonight, not just a guy that's looking to pitch to advance his team further in the postseason and help in that cause, but you're also looking at a guy in Aaron Nola tonight that is pitching for a long-term deal. If that's not motivation, forget about Arcia. Forget about just the idea of winning a playoff game, because this tonight is, I mean, I consider it a do or die, but the Phillies could still lose this game and then win 2 in a row. It would be very hard to do that, but they could still very much do it. For Nola, this is a do or die situation. Because if he wants to go and sign a big contract at the end of this year and salvage anything from his 2023 campaign, this is the night to do that. The Phillies are in a huge needing situation here. They need a starting pitcher to go deep. They need a starting pitcher to go out there and dominate for 6 or 7 innings. You get 8 innings, it's a miracle these days, but 6 or 7 innings of dominant pitching and not giving up a home run, not giving up the big swing, that is something that I need to see from Aaron Nola tonight. And you're, again, talking about a guy who could wipe away the 2023 season and his struggles up until the end of September. His last 3 starts of the regular season, he could wipe that away with a great playoff run. He's got 1 great start under his belt. Can I get 2 great starts under his belt to start off his postseason run in 2023? That's what you're looking at tonight, and I think that's what you're going to get tonight. The guys that are going to be threatening that, unfortunately, Austin Riley and Ronald Acuna. In their careers, Austin Riley's got 49 at-bats against that Bryce Harper character. It should be 54 at-bats against Aaron Nola. He's got a 389 batting average with 5 home runs and 5 doubles. 5 home runs, 5 doubles against Aaron Nola in his career in 54 at-bats. Ronald Acuna Jr. batted 327 against Nola with 4 home runs and 5 doubles. That's a pretty damn good overall OPS slugging percentage and all that fun jazz. That is insane. We'll see if the adjustments that he's made since then pay off ultimately in this postseason run and this postseason start against the Braves. I still feel good about this. I still feel like the Phillies are the more clutch team. And I still feel like the Braves right now are a regular season team. And I've said this before, but I'll say it again. The Braves are I've never seen a team in the regular season that has played so great, but I've respected less when the postseason rolls around. And that is not a recent thing. That's pretty much my whole life thing. I mean, you've seen them win 2 World Series, but they've made the playoffs how many times? They've made the World Series how many times? And not one? And this isn't this isn't recent. This is my entire life. And as Chase Utley so eloquently pointed out in that phenomenal hype video there by NBC Sports Philadelphia, one thing Braves have never done, beat the Phillies in a postseason playoff, in a postseason matchup. And I think that continues tonight. With the Phillies going out there in the slightly earlier start time. It's pretty nice weather down there, too. It's supposed to be clear skies. 69 degrees, nice. Add first pitch. All that should be ready to fire and ready to go when things get underway in South Philadelphia tonight. Hunter Brody, we want to talk a little bit more about the Phillies coming up in a second. He'll also, yes, we do talk a little bit of the Flyers. Flyers get the season underway tomorrow night, as a matter of fact, in Columbus. So look forward to following the Flyers this season and this whole rebuild. He also weighs in on that rebuild. We talk about the red zone efficiency of the Eagles. We talk about the Phillies and the confidence level going into the game tonight. We cover it all with Hunter Brody coming up in just a little bit. We will still have our chat check as per usual. We'll get into that conversation with you guys, all the wonderful things that you guys have to say about tonight and what your confidence level is going into tonight. We have everything to get into. One thing that I just can't wrap my head around for tonight, aside from ticket prices, one thing I can't wrap my head around is the idea of the Phillies blowing the momentum in one game. I consistently hear this conversation about momentum and what momentum is and whether or not the Braves have stolen momentum. I don't think that happens in one game. The Phillies have a history of, as I pointed out, beating the Braves in the postseason. Phillies, with Bryce Harper and this regime, they made it to the World Series last year as a worse team than what they are right now. Like, think about that. They're a better team this year. And if Wheeler and Nola are really figuring it out and have figured it out as it appears to be so, then they're going to be a force to be reckoned with for a long playoff run. Things are shaping up. People will talk about, you can't look ahead. You can only you can only think about who you're facing now. Sure, that's true to an extent, but you can't for a second think to yourself, well, hold on a second. We're taking care of business, and we take care of business against this Braves team like we did last year. There's no better argument for I can do that than the idea of I've already done it. So if you can beat this Braves team and you got the Diamondbacks beating up on the Dodgers, the path to the World Series is right there, and it's only getting easier. Sure, you might have the idea of two underdogs clashing, two underdogs facing each other, but one of the big turnarounds this season, if you remember, came when the Phillies were 3-19 on the road, and then they went to face the Arizona Diamondbacks in Arizona, and they were able to take 3 out of 4 in that series. And their whole season turned around after that. I think they had the Dodgers after that. Or no, they had the A's after that, and they really helped turn their season around in the early goings of the year. One of Rob Thompson's biggest critiques of the early goings of the season, hey, we got to learn to win on the road. That's where they learned to win on the road. I also want to get into the aesthetics of all this. Yes, if you told me they split in Atlanta, I'm happy. And I'm still happy that they took home field advantage. They win 2 more games. They control their own destiny. They're out. They're out of the NLDS and on to the NLCS. But when you look at this series and you look at this Game 3 the matchup tonight, I, for the life of me, just can't see the Phillies being a team that bows out and loses all the momentum in one game. I don't see Game 2 having an effect in the negative sense on Game 3. I think the Phillies feel like they won in Atlanta. All they had to do was split. They split. The reason it feels so terrible is because you were riding such a high. 2 outs in the 6th inning, no hitter going, you're up 4 runs. And then it all came crashing and burning. So right now it feels like you were about to experience this immense high that we haven't experienced in a long time in terms of actually taking a 2-0 series lead in the playoffs. What? And then blowing that opportunity. Bottom line is you still split. You still have the advantage now over the next 2 games to win this series on your own home field. That's what I'm going to be basking in before the game tonight, hopefully during the game, when you see your first sweeping crowd shot of everyone losing their minds at Citizens Bank Park, everyone losing their mind, everyone excited, everyone ready to party. And then from that point on, everybody else just bringing the noise in South Philadelphia tonight. So that's what I'll be looking forward to about this game. And that's what I have optimism about with the Phillies winning. And also now that Arcia, put it up here one more time. Now that Arcia has this issue, I really have a feeling that the Phillies, that the Braves have just put a quarter in the Bryce Harper machine. And it wasn't exactly like Bryce Harper was struggling in this series to begin with. This is going to be I think, a great game tonight by Bryce Harper. I think if you're looking at a bet, maybe at MyBookie, mybookie.ag. Maybe if you're looking at a bet, you're looking at Bryce Harper to pop one tonight at a Phillies victory. That's what I'd be looking at tonight. Do look forward to the Phillies having their best foot forward with Nola on the hill and a more motivated Bryce Harper. Because you can always say that the bulletin board material doesn't matter to a guy like Harper. He's always motivated. Those guys always find ways to get motivated. Want to talk about the Eagles here. So Brian Johnson addressed the media yesterday. Sean Desai addressed the media. Didn't go into specifics, as one would assume, about what he was doing with his secondary as far as trying to defend against Matthew Stafford and trying to bring a guy like Bradley Roby up to speed and play in the nickel corner position as he was against the Rams, and throwing as many guys as they did at Cooper Kupp and throwing as many guys as they did at Puka Nacua. All that's interesting, but he didn't go into detail as one would assume. Praise Jalen Carter, praise a guy like Bradley Roby for what he was able to do, considering he only officially joined the team on Tuesday, and then he's thrown into the mix. That's pretty impressive. But Brian Johnson got into the red zone efficiency of this Eagles team. They are 27th. They are ranked 27th in the NFL in red zone efficiency. That is horrifying when you think about the weapons that they have, and if they get in a first and goal situation from the 1, they have an automatic touchdown. Automatic. Think about that. Think about this team, and think about the amount of field goals you have kicked. And I love Jake Elliott. I think he's fantastic. He's the greatest Eagles kicker ever. But I would like to decrease his workload just a little bit. Like, I don't need to see more of Jake Elliott to know that Jake Elliott is a good, to like the greatest kicker in Eagles history. I don't need to see more of him. I'd actually like to see less. As long as I know he's there for a 50-yard field goal to win a game at the end, I'm fine with it. I would like to not put the game on his shoulders too many times. If he hasn't been as money to this point, the Eagles are obviously not 5-0. I think we know that. The Eagles might even be 3-1-1. Like, think about that. Could have a tie against the Commanders. Who wants that? So that's where we're at right now. I can't stand for the life of me. So Brian Johnson did highlight it yesterday. I'm saying that of all the things you could work on in an offense, even a 5-0 offense, of all the things you could work on, it's red zone. And with A.J. Brown, with Devontae Smith, with Dallas Goedert, with DeAndre Swift playing like he's been playing this year, Kenny Gainwell being a tough guy to bring down. Again, I never thought I'd look at him as a thunder guy to anybody's lightning, but that's the way it looked certainly here against the Rams. And then Jalen Hurts as your quarterback. You can't score where in the red zone where it matters most, where you have these nice long drives, 14 plays, 75 yards, taking 9 minutes off the clock, and the icing on the cake is a field goal? No, I don't like that. I don't like that even a little bit. But yeah, here we are. 27th in the red zone. That is something that is not going to fly when you face a team like the San Francisco 49ers. It's not going to fly when you're facing a team like the Miami Dolphins. It really doesn't fly that well anywhere against anybody. Against the Bucs, they were pretty good there. They scored a lot from outside the red zone in that game. But that's something that the Eagles must improve upon. And as we talk about with Hunter Brody coming up here in a second, one of the things that we get into is the idea of when we watch games, and most people, I think, watch games, they realize it's not just about beating the Rams. It's not just about beating the Bucs or the Patriots or the Commanders, right? It's about the measuring stick against a Super Bowl contender. Because when you go into a season as a Super Bowl contender like the Eagles are, the measuring stick for how good the team is it, oh, well, they're 5-0. That's great. And I'm not complaining about being 5-0, and I'm not complaining about the fact that they have, they have found a way to win every game they've played this season. The measuring stick for me is, are they playing like a Super Bowl contender? That is the ultimate. So when you don't put up points in the red zone, or you maybe miss one or two more throws than you should as a quarterback, that's not looking for nitpicking things about Jalen Hurts. That's comparing him against a guy that needs to play similar to the way he did in the Super Bowl last year in order to win a Super Bowl. That's not looking at a defense with one blown coverage. That's saying, all right, can you make that kind of mistake against the 49ers, against the Dolphins, against the Bills? Can you make that kind of mistake? The answer to that is an emphatic no. I mean, JT Realmuto, just as an athlete, not as a football player, obviously, even though he was a high school state champion. I mean, he summed it up best when they lost game 2 against the Braves. You can't make those kind of mistakes against a team like that. You can make those kind of mistakes against the Buccaneers. You can make them against the Patriots, certainly against the Patriots. Good God, that's just not exactly a beautiful showing in New England right now. but you can't make those mistakes against the upper echelon. You can make them against the Rams, certainly. You can make them against the Jets, absolutely. You can't make those mistakes against the teams that you're going to be facing to make it to a Super Bowl. So I've used this reference when talking about basketball a lot, about how with the Sixers, the regular season is just for sheer entertainment, just because you like to watch basketball. The only thing that really matters is what happens in the postseason. So I'm looking at an 82-game schedule of preseason play before you get to the playoffs. I don't care about – this year especially, with the way Embiid won the MVP and then the way they fizzled out in the playoffs, I have never cared. You know, the only thing I care about, the only individual accolade I care about is Tyrese Maxey making an all-star game. That's the only thing I care about. That'll be the biggest thing to me. If he goes out there and makes an all-star team this year, that'll be huge. Anyway, I digress. Let me go back to football. Sorry. Family Guy brain, folks. If you have a situation where your team is going out there and dominating and making it into the postseason, as the Eagles are going to do, you feel obviously a lot better. But if they're having their struggles through this 5-game stretch, even at 5-0, they have made those mistakes. They haven't had to pay for them fully. Other teams that they're going to face later in the season, when the schedule gets a little bit more difficult, those are the teams that are going to make them pay. So the red zone efficiency at 27th in the league, there's no excuses there. That needs to improve drastically, especially when you consider the weapons they have. I mean, in the red zone, you can target a guy like Dowdy. You want to target a tight end? You got a guy who's one of the best in the league in Dallas Goedert. You want to run it to DeAndre Swift in this offensive line? You mean to tell me you can't run it down people's throats in the red zone? You mean to tell me you can't have a little classic play action fake and throw something over the top to A.J. Brown or Devontae Smith? Please. You absolutely can. And I'd love to see that happen sooner rather than later. Let me tell you right now about our great friends at MyBookie, mybookie.ag. All that's going on with MyBookie, you can enjoy it right now when you use promo code Farzy. You see it in the crawl right there. Up to $200 at MyBookie when you use promo code Farzy. That's promo code Farzy at MyBookie, and you can enjoy all that they have to offer. When it comes to MyBookie, when it comes to your money, and your money is when it's on the line, you can choose and trust the sportsbook that gives you tools to win in MyBookie. MyBookie doesn't matter if your team is up or down. You can easily cash out and bet the game live and come out on the winning side. Use MyBookie for daily odds boost, same-game parlays, and take advantage of the huge prize pool contest. Use promo code Farzy. When you use promo code Farzy, your first deposit, and you could receive up to $200 in cash. That's promo code Farzy to claim your own cash bonus right now. Try MyBookie Money Bag to grab a potential Super Bowl frontrunner and long shot odds of plus 38,000 on the Eagles and Chiefs. You don't find odds like that anywhere else. Bet anything, anytime, anywhere, only at MyBookie. Use promo code Farzy. Let me give you the chat check and see how you guys are doing on this fine morning. April, Mally, Fuji. Bank will be loud and crazy. Think about how many people were calling on the Eagles fan or the Phillies fans after the game. So many people. Nick Castellanos, Bryce Harper, Trey Turner, Rob Thompson, Aaron Nola yesterday when he was addressing the media. Everyone is all Phillied up as they should be. So everyone's called a little MacGyver. Early riser. Hi, April. Professor Dutch, Broads is the man. Yeah, he graduated. Like me, he graduated from 97.5. Professor Dutch. Mark, I smoked some Kush this morning in honor of that neckline. You're welcome. Thank you very much. Much appreciated. Travis Ricky, good morning. Mike Fuji, good morning. Farzy, good morning, sir. Good morning, Brian. Nice to see you. April, people need to remember that the advantage we have at home, plus if you don't think the boys are going to be fired up after that loss, you're crazy. April, I agree a billion gazillion %. Absolutely. Let me flip over to Jacob, see how you guys are doing over here. Daz, good morning. Babs, Patriots, last place, Vikings. How about Justin Jefferson being placed on IR? That's bonkers. Thank you, everyone in the chat. You guys are fantastic. Without further ado, let me introduce my friend Hunter Brody of Broads Media, talking all things Broads, Flyers, Eagles, Phillies. All things Broads right here, ladies and gentlemen. I got to get out of here, but enjoy this conversation with me and Broads. You love him. His name is Hunter Brody. Broads Media, all things Broads, the TikTok that the kids are on and all that fun stuff, the YouTube and all that fun stuff that we're all on here. We're all having ourselves a good time in the digital stratosphere. Broads, how are you, friend?
I'm unreal. Right now, I'm pretending like I'm paying attention to what you're saying, but I have other things in the background. What's up?
At the time we tape this, you're locked on, who's that Bedard character?
Oh, yeah, Connor Bedard. Yeah.
Let me ask, okay, I did tell you, and I'm not just doing this because it's you. You know that I happen to love the Philadelphia Flyers. I'm obviously a bigger Flyers fan than I am a hockey fan by far, but are we going to – I remember with Hextall, there was like this half-ass investment in some kind of rebuild, but then they signed players to win now, and then they rebuild, and they signed players to win now. It wasn't even a half-ass effort. It was like a quarter-ass effort at a rebuild. This seems like we are rebuilding. We want to build a winner. Are we truly invested this time around with this go of upper management with Briere and Jonesy and these guys? Are we really going to rebuild right now? How long is this going to take? What's the patience level for someone like you?
Does a bear shit in the woods?
Per sources, yes. Per sources.
Matvey Michkov is a superstar. All right, I trust Danny Briere. I trust everybody in that front office right now to answer your question before we get to all the other stuff that's really important outside of the Flyers here, all right? Is yes. We will be back soon, and they have a real plan, and I believe in their plan.
Okay. Fair enough. And what's the plan? Is the plan – can you give any type of deadline? What, 2 years, 3 years, 10 years? What are we dealing with here?
Well, probably a couple years until we see Matvey Michkov and Cutter Gauthier, but those two are two franchise-changing level guys, and they're already in your system. But you know how the hockey world works. It does, unfortunately, take a couple years. But they'll be here, and I'd say maybe like the next 2 years we'll start to get that bump. You know what I'm saying?
No, I'm with you. I was all for the Sixers breaking it down. I remember doing a show that day the day after they traded Drew Holiday, and it was like, all right, we're definitely breaking this down to build it back up. The whole process began and all that stuff. I remember that, and I remember people were like, 3 years. We're going to give this 3 years, and I would hope that the Flyers would be in that same type of realm, but obviously with even greater success. Well,
yeah,
well,
yeah, you're right. Yeah, you're right. God, poor old Daryl Morey. Yeah. I will say this though, there are some pieces on the Flyers now that are worth investing in. I didn't expect us to go 3-minute opening monologue here on the Burnt Orange.
Oh, we got it, baby.
Yeah. Oh, did you get your new era of Flyers hockey? I will say there are some pieces here though to be excited about. Bobby Brink, Tyson Forster. When they are good, there are some young kids that are trying to show Tortsy they're worth it. Those kids are on this roster now. So there is some sort of emotional connection with some of the young ones, if you will. I'm still waiting for the phone call. You know what I mean? I put the skates on the first time in 6 years. I was skating at Voorhees this summer, popping a couple. I didn't score it all, actually. But I didn't get scored on. So I was a nice even on the stat sheet.
Even if you haven't put the skates on in 6 years, man, that's good stuff right there. That's
as
a plus
D-man,
in my book.
Exactly. Hey, I've been telling my coaches that for years, but they never bought it.
Fair enough. All right, last thing here. When will we see a captain? Will the Flyers just go captainless forever? Just no more captains? Captains no more? What happened?
You know what? I love when the media pushes that button with Torts because it's
I'm just curious.
I don't think we're getting one for a long time. And maybe that's the right way to do it, though.
Fair enough. I just feel like that cheats Couturier just a wee bit.
Yeah, we'll see what he is. That's a big question mark. I have no idea if he's healthy or – I mean, he seems to be healthy, but you never know. There's back injuries. They don't go away. That's Ben Simmons.
Fair enough. Fair enough. Yeah, look at you. Yeah, you want to make me go down that road? How dare you, sir? Anyway. Hey, the Phillies got Game 3 coming up at the time we air this tonight. They got Game 3 coming up here with Aaron Nola. We're going to see what's going on there. Obviously, a lot went wrong. I don't blame Bryce Harper for the error that he committed, being like, I don't blame him for the loss. I think it was bad base running. I don't think it was heads-up base running. I thought he tried to do everything himself. With that being said, that was like number 5 on things that pissed me off about Game 2. So where are you right now at this point in time heading into Game 3? Confidence level of the Phillies will still win this series?
9 out of 10 today. Now, last night after the game, I was devastated. I used the word depressed. Last night, I was stuck. But I knew I needed a night's sleep on it. That's all. I would be okay in the morning when I made my cup of coffee and we reattack the day. I just knew that night would be tough for me. That's all. It's part of being a fan, right? I'm going to soak it in, and the highs are highs, the lows are lows, and when they're low, I'm going to be beat down. But I knew long-term that they're going to hit the reset button because that's what this team does. So I think they take care of business in 4, and they win this game on Wednesday night, and Aaron Nola takes it and he dominates, and I think that they rebound because that's what their genes have been since they've kind of put this core together. So I'm good today, but when it happened, now I'm getting all confused on when we're airing this, but you get my point. I'm feeling all right now.
Yeah.
I've been thinking about that like 3 times already. I'm
Going into game 3. Into game 3. You're feeling pretty damn good.
So you're a professional at this. So I don't normally record like this. But anyway,
No, you know when you record for weeks in advance. You'll record like I'm going on vacation. I really need to say something, but it's going to air 3 months from now. So that's what we're going to do when I'm going on vacation. So you plan ahead. I don't plan ahead.
I think I have a video saved here for 2027 about the Sixers, just in case I need it. You know what I'm saying? We can date back to. Hopefully, it's still up to speed. But anyway, I feel good, man. Where do you? And the Bryce thing. All right. So the night of the game, I was pissed about it. I'm now starting to realize that I don't feel like wasting my energy on it. It took such a crazy, ridiculous play for us to even bring up that base running mistake that, like you said, it's like 6th, 5th, 7th on my list. I won't waste my breath.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I agree with you on that. There's far other things that I could point out as a bigger reason as to why the Phillies lost game 2. But this is what they do. They lose game 2. They come back home to South Philly. They get in front of the South Philly faithful. They get in front of that crowd, and all of a sudden it lifts them to no end. So, I mean, I've heard it now from national media outlets far too many times for it not to be true. And Buster Olney's the latest to say, it might not really affect the Braves, but it certainly lifts the Phillies up. It really is the best home field advantage you can have in baseball. I mean, if you're a player, you got to be getting chills when you're running out in the field. And you also got to be thinking to yourself, I'm not going to let this crowd down.
Yeah, especially now that Arcia is running his mouth saying all sorts of crap. I mean, every time he goes up to the plate, the dude's going to get booed 10 times worse than he probably already would have. Actually, no one ever cares about what that guy is, so we probably wouldn't even recognize that he's out there. He's not Ronald Acuna Jr. or anything. But, yeah, what a ridiculous thing for him to start throwing all sorts of bulletin board material out there. Yeah, the fan base is there. The way we view it is we got a game, right? The Braves fans are saying, hey, we got nothing to do tonight. You want to just go stop by Truist Park? Fine, I'll go snag a beer for a couple of dollars. While at the Phillies, it's like, hey, I'm putting on my cleats and we're ready to go lace them up and play. It's outrageous. I love that energy. And I think sometimes we really take pride in it and all in the beginning. It's like, that crowd. But now it's such a national story. It puts it in perspective on how elite that crowd really is.
Absolutely. I think my suggestion for Citizens Bank Park would be when Orlando Arcia comes up to the plate, we play like a TGIF Family Matters Full House type of laugh track when he steps to the plate. That would just be my own personal idea as opposed to any music or anything like that. And we all just crack up and we laugh at him because he sucks. Anyway.
Loser.
Exactly. So you're feeling good about the Phillies. I'm feeling good about the Phillies. We're all feeling good about the Phillies. Let's move on and talk about our Philadelphia Eagles here because I'm blown away. And my in-laws just came into town today to help me with the kids. My wife's away on the girls' trip, and they helped me out. And my father-in-law, who's from he's a Cleveland sports fan through and through. He said you got to be feeling pretty good about your Eagles. He's like they just seem like they're unbeatable, and I'm like they're pretty damn close to it. He's like, what do you like the most? I said this Jalen Carter kid out of Georgia. He's the real deal, Broads. I've been saying this and I've been racking my brain, and I've just no one. I was young for Jerome Brown. I know you. Were you around for Jerome Brown at all?
I was born in 1995.
So no. I can't remember it. I can't remember a lineman that was a man amongst boys as a rookie. And that's what he is. I am amazed by what I'm seeing with Jalen Carter. How much are you loving what you're seeing from the rookie out of Georgia?
The second sack, I fell over. My wife was like, yo, you're right down there. So, yeah, I haven't seen a pass rush like that from an interior lineman who's 9. Like he's 9 years old just doing that out there against grown men. It's absurd. Yeah, this guy's outrageous. He's going to take over the league the way Aaron Donald did when he was in his prime. And Aaron Donald still got it. It's just not when you go up against Lane Johnson, Jason Kelsey, Jordan Mailata. They always have his number. Jeff Stoutling University, what up? you're going to see him be such a star level dude. And it's funny, I heard this the other day. I forget where I heard it from, but we always talk about his growth because he gets to work with the Fletcher Cox and he's around a defensive line type of team. But how about, are we giving any credit to, and maybe this is outrageous, I don't know, maybe we're just like in love with Jalen Carter so much, but Fletch looks young again, right? Fletch looks like he's spry and doing his thing. Is he learning anything from Jalen Carter? Like, I know the space. I'm saying, like, he's getting double teamed and that opens up space. That's just like the organic stuff. But seriously, I mean, is there anything that Jalen Carter's like, yo, Fletch, like, you know what I mean? And maybe that's a correlation with why Fletch is looking great too?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, I 1,000%. Now, look, Javon Hargrave, I remember thinking when they drafted Jalen Carter, I said, all right, my baseline for how I'm going to judge Jalen Carter's success is first step, don't make me miss. Don't make me miss Javon Hargrave. Don't make me miss him. I don't miss him. He's a hell of a player. I'm not doubting him. I'm not downing him. I am just saying that Jalen Carter's that good. And forget about even missing him. I think the Eagles upgraded at that position. If you're upgrading from a guy who had double-digit sacks while playing next to Fletcher Cox, and you're upgrading that position, Fletcher Cox, I don't know if he's learning, but I think his job got a hell of a lot easier because if you're an offensive line, if you're somebody else's Jeff Stoutland, somebody else's offensive line coach, you're going, double team Fletch, double team Jalen Carter, double team Jordan Davis, worry about the outside, the edge rushers as well that get home pretty often as well. You're looking at linebackers like Nicholas Morrow making plays for this team. And now Kobe Dean's been activated at a 21-day practice list there. So for me, I think it's a pick your poison. If you're an offensive line coach of any other team in the NFL and you have to pick between Fletcher Cox and Jalen Carter, it's pick your poison on any given down. And I think that's what makes Fletcher Cox look like he has hit the fountain of youth.
Sure. And Jordan Davis, too. I didn't expect him to be able to register sacks. I thought maybe he'd just eat up some space and he'd make some tackles in the run game and whatnot. But he's even improving in that area, too. That's a huge step for him. That changes everything. I talked about how when you see BG get up there and you see all these guys, the Fletcher Cox and even the Kelseys and Lanes, you got to find ways to replenish while they're still here on their back nine. So by the time they do leave, here's the others that are inserted that already have 4 or 5 years already kind of establishing themselves, and now you hit the reset button and you do it all over again. Then we're always in the NFC Championship game at Lincoln Financial Field.
Speaking of which, all right, I'm going to go to the easy road here, and then I'll go to the harder road. How much like frauds do the Cowboys look right now? Good God, man. Choke and Dak Prescott cannot play against the San Francisco 49ers. The last time he's faced him in the playoffs, he's put up his worst playoff numbers that he's ever had, and not that it's an illustrious playoff career. And then regular season-wise, throws 3 picks and has one of the worst sacks I've ever seen any type of veteran quarterback take when he was sacked by Fred Warner deep in their own red zone there, deep in their own territory. He floated outside the pocket for time, bought time, and still held onto the ball. And he might as well have asked Fred, hey, can you just sack me, please? I'm not going to get rid of this. Just sack me, please. It was amazing. They looked like the biggest bag of frauds in the NFL.
Yeah, and there's no shame in losing to the 49ers if you are Dallas, but it's the way it looks. If the Eagles go and play, the 49ers eventually, and let's say they lose 24-23 in this crazy, nice, hard-fought battle or whatever, like you can be okay with that and say, hey, we'll see you in the postseason. Buckle up. We're going to get a second shot at it. Whatever. They're just getting beaten down, and they're not even looking competitive to the point now when I look at this NFC, I think the Cowboys are more along the lines of the Lions, which is not a bad spot to be. I think the Lions are more ascending, and the Cowboys are probably, I don't know, just stuck with where they've been, I guess, in that range-ish. But, there's the 49ers and the Eagles, and then there's the secondary tier that has in the NFC more of the Lions and the Cowboys, and I think they're probably in the same category. Is that fair or unfair?
I think that's very fair. I think that's a great way to look at it. Now, of course, if they lose 24-23 when they play the 49ers later in the season here in Philly, we'll still lose our damn minds.
Of course. We're 5-0 and we're screaming every week.
Yeah, exactly.
For the second straight year. For the second straight year. It's like, God can't stand Brian Johnson. It's like, we haven't lost. We don't lose.
I do find
the red zone. The
hilarious.
Red zone, though. The red zone.
The red zone sucks. The red zone sucks.
It does, and that's fair criticism.
See, here's the thing I don't understand. so you and I will do shows and stuff, and we'll talk about the game. And I mean, always, they're 5-0, they're 4-0, they're 3-0, they're undefeated. And it's like what I am saying, or what you are saying, Broads, is exactly what Jason Kelsey's saying, what AJ Brown is saying, what Jalen Carter, what Jalen Hurts, what Nick Sirianni is saying. They're all saying the same. They're not nitpicking. They're just in pursuit of perfection.
Yes.
And we're not judging. The point of the season is not to be 5-0 by week 5. I mean, that's nice. The point of the season is to win a Super Bowl. And when you're a legit Super Bowl contender, which the Eagles are, especially over the last 2 years, then you're always measured against a Super Bowl performance. And that is just called fair. That might be high expectations because that's the position the Eagles have put themselves in. So if you want to measure that they didn't score well in the red zone against the Rams and say, well, it was just the Rams, they still won. Well, are they going to get away with those same mistakes when they face the 49ers? Even the Cowboys, for the frauds that they look like, are they still going to get away with those same mistakes against the Cowboys as well on that defense? That's what I'm measuring them against. Not just their opponent that week, but what it looks like over the grand scheme of an entire season.
And I don't have any problems with that at all. And I guess where my comfortability falls into this is I know we have the locker room that's aware of that as well. Like we see Jason Kelsey screaming at Stoutland and making all these funny gestures on the sidelines because he's frustrated, but they're 5-0. So for me, it's like I'm able to relax more because I know that they know that what they're doing is good, but there's still so many things to improve on while they're figuring out their journey this season. They're beating everybody, and they're just dominating in the trenches, and they can beat you in so many different ways. Hurts is starting to look more polished in the run game and passing. So it's all following the suit here of each week getting better each and every day. And I hate to say that. I sound like Nick Sirianni, but they're doing it. Every day they get better, 1% better every single day, blah, blah, blah. But they actually do utilize that, and they go out there and they get better each week. So it is what it is for me. I won't cry about it, but I know the locker room knows, so that makes it easier to sleep at night. If Gabe Kapler was running a team and they're like, well, we're in first place, so shut your mouth. Yeah, Gabe, how's golf? All right, how's golf?
It's funny you asked me, Broads. It was amazing. Yeah. Anyway, that's my Gabe Cap. Anyway, sorry.
That was pretty good.
I do what I can. Anyway.
And by the way, I'm chirping someone who makes a lot of money and is now golfing because he no longer has a job getting paid a lot of money.
Does he even golf? Has he been out there on the like?
I don't see him as a golfer. If he does, he probably shoots like a 107. As if I shoot anything less.
Yeah, I do cartwheels if I break 100. Anyway, if I break a 90, I just go streaking across the golf.
I've never done that, but I would imagine I'd go streaking too.
It's happened once. They had to close the course. It's no longer there. Anyway, I swear it's a coincidence. But yeah, Gabe Kapler strikes me as somebody that would pick up golf, like just on a whim. It looks like fun.
You know what?
Looks like fun. I'm going to do it.
Yeah, but see, he probably thinks he could smash the ball 350 yards, but doesn't realize he's too top heavy. He's too worried about like coconut oil on his hands, and the driver slips out.
He would be someone that actually goes to Scotland first before he ever plays. Yeah.
Yeah, no South Jersey course for $40 on a Tuesday afternoon. Nah, screw it. I'm going to Ireland to play Ballybunion.
All dressed up, Jeff Cap and all, sweater vest, and he like feels the grass for a day, plays the next day, figures out the dew points in that area.
He plays all four. He plays Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, and like actually scores himself for the 4 days. What a jerk off! I hate him. I hate him.
See, all right. Now we're talking about. So I really liked Gabe Kaplan. I got to meet him, got to interview him a couple times, and I really liked him. He was a horrendous fit for Philadelphia. Like, people think it's hating on the guy. No, just a terrible fit. A guy that's a California type dude does not fit in Philadelphia. We look at that as if that's snake oil salesman, that's, door-to-door guy. That we look at that like they're trying to sell us something that we clearly don't want. But that's literally who the guy is. That's a genuine persona of him. We look at it as some kind of caricature of himself, but he was just like I talked to him once about deep dish pizza for 10 minutes, and you would have thought we were breaking down Picasso's best art. It was
it's too much. That's too much.
Exactly. And I'm like, it's just a deep dish pizza, man. Anyway.
Now, I put this Twitter poll out there like a week ago. If you had to get stuck for the rest of your life as a Philadelphia sports fan with either Gabe Kapler as your manager or Jonathan Gannon as your defensive coordinator, what would you choose?
Ooh.
Is it easy? Because it seemed like a lot of the vote said, well, because you have a head coach in football and Gannon was good statistically speaking last year, it's easy. And Gabe's a bad manager. But, look, I mean, that guy was brutal in the Super Bowl. Brutal. Sean Desai in one half is making a change where Cooper Kupp doesn't sniff the ball after half. Yeah. Gannon can't do that to save his life. It's a hell of a question we have here over at Broads Media Studios.
Wait, is the question still running at this very point at the time we tape this interview? Or is it wrapped?
No. It's been wrapped for weeks.
Who won for weeks?
Gannon. People want Gannon over Gabe. Yeah.
I would have went Gabe. Because Gabe is a Renaissance man. Gabe is a very curious fellow. I'm a very curious guy. We would be talking about probably this like stuff that are just like you would never assume we would talk about in that car. And I'm sure he could talk about anything. And here's the other thing. I know if we were in that car, being stuck in a car or whatever, the question was a car trip, a road trip?
No. You're saying they're in Philadelphia for the rest of your life. Like they're either the manager of Phillies baseball or the DC of your Eagles football team for the rest of your living experience.
Miss Guzzi, I thought that was a more personal question. Yeah, I'll take Gannon as the defensive coordinator. Okay. Sorry. Thought this is personal time. Me again, and Miss Guzzi. So when do we lose? When do we watch the Philadelphia Eagles lose? What's the negative side of this? They're not going to go undefeated. I'd love for them to go undefeated. They're not going to go undefeated. When are they losing, Broads?
Well, it's not the Jets. I'm looking for my phone. You know when you get out of the car and you pat the pockets? I'm looking for the phones so I can see the schedule. But it's not the Jets. I'm a 1 week at a time guy. All right, what do we got next week here, Coach? Oh, we got the Jets. I will pepper them. They lose. Let's say they go 9-1. Who's week 10? Give me week 10 right now.
Week 10? Oh, I guarantee. They're going to win this game because it's their bye week.
That's right. Give me week 11, baby.
Week 11. Let me go to week 11. So they got the Cowboys going into the bye. Coming out week 11, they're at Kansas City.
Okay, that's a rough game. Taylor Swift is there. You know what I'm saying?
Do you notice how much Patrick Mahomes is running the football this year? Have you noticed this? He's on pace to.
Offense is not looking the same to me, so it's hard to kind of I don't know, digest it.
Yeah, we finally found something Travis Kelce can't do. He can't carry a pop icon on his back as he's trying to make catches from Patrick Mahomes. Sorry, I took a long route to get there, but I got there anyway.
Been there, dude. This whole thing, by the way, is 22 minutes. I don't even know what the hell we said. I hope people enjoyed it.
I think we just wrapped hockey 5 seconds ago. Did we just wrap hockey?
How's Connor Bedard doing over here? I saw him.
How is he doing?
He almost hit the pipe about 6 minutes ago. I did one of these side eyes. I didn't know if you caught on or not.
Oh, I was like, I'm going to just repeat that line one more time. No.
Well, hold on. You're telling me you don't have Penguins Blackhawks on at the Farzetta household tonight? Are you sick?
I'm not kidding. I'm not kidding. You know, it was before we started this interview. You know, it was on my television, and I'm not even kidding.
Grey's Anatomy.
My daughter, okay, little Manuela, 4 years old now. She made an appearance on the show yesterday. Yeah, she wants to watch Frank Sinatra. I'm not kidding you. This is not my doing. I don't force this. I don't play this. I have a poster in my office in my den of the Rat Pack of Ocean's 11, and she has noticed that. She's asked me about it. We haven't talked about it for months. Last week on the way to school, she goes, "Daddy, I want to listen to Frank Sinatra."
How happy
I was like, oh God, couldn't get my phone out fast enough to put on Frank Sinatra. So we listened to Frank Sinatra. She took my phone in school. She was playing Come Fly With Me for all her little friends. You know, the teacher loves it. The teacher was playing it in school.
Let's float down to Peru. Wow.
Exactly. I love that you know that.
Wow.
Of course you know that.
Well, it's it's not like it's a pretty
popular song. Anyway,
pretty important song there in life.
But on TV, she was watching a Dean Martin, Frank Sinatra, and Judy Garland special from 1962.
So she's going to be into music, probably.
It melts my heart every time. Daddy, dance with me. Daddy, dance with me. And I'm like, how do you say no to that? How do you say no? You'll know.
I can't wait. Friend. I got a couple more months.
Oh, God bless you,
Couple
brother.
more
God
months,
bless
dude.
you.
I'm getting taught. Do you know how to change a diaper? Yeah, I know how to change a diaper. Then I start YouTubing it.
First, don't forget you need duct tape. Anyway, then after that, no. All right.
So you take
Broads.
the screwdriver. Yeah.
Flathead is best.
Yeah,
Anyway,
flathead. You screw the screws in the back. Anyway.
yes, we should not be left alone with children. Anyway,
Nope.
Broads, always great catching up with you. Thanks. I said 15 to 20 minutes, and we're doing 25. God bless you. Well, obviously, we can check you out all things Broads Media. Where else can we see you?
Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube. You know what the kids say these days. I don't know what they say, but they use the social media, and that's where you can find me.
I believe they said you got that Riz.
Oh, the Riz? I'm married,
Riz.
man. The Riz is that of my thing. That's a single man thing. I'm married.
That a fella.
I don't got Riz.
We should never lose it. That's what keeps the marriages happy, from what I'm told. Broads, always great catching up with you, brother. Thanks so much. Check everything out. Broads Media right there with our friend Hunter Brody.